first and foremost, the biggest thing that he went over was having a strong enough why. And it really cannot be a why that is centered around yourself. Like, I'm doing it for myself. It can't even be something material that you're doing it for. Like, if you want to buy a new car, a new house, whatever the case is. He says the key is that you have to do it for someone else. For himself, he got arrested. He did some time in prison, and he did it for his kids. And his why was just so strong and so powerful enough that it literally just catapulted him, back to where he was before. So I'm just gonna ask. Let me ask a couple of you guys. Let me ask Henry. Oh no, I don't think he's there. Let me ask Eric. Eric, what's your why?
My why? Why do I do what I do? Kind of thing would be probably because I need to live. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's with me. I need to live. So me working, me doing what I do, creates who I am, builds who I am. It depends also what you do. So if, like, for example, if I'm if I'm working here, I want to make a lot of money. So I want to, that's my whole why. I need to find a way to make a lot of money. If it's gonna make me a lot of money, I'm good. That's my reason why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to make a lot of money, support my family, get everything I want, get everything my family wants, support everybody. So why I do it is because it makes me. I need to live with it.
Perfect. Travis, you had something to say?
Yeah. When I say my why, would be my girl and my mom. And I've always said that I want to, let my mom retire so she doesn't have to work, take care of her, help get her a place. She's always wanted a condo. So I want to, get my mom a condo and pay for that, every month so she doesn't have to worry about that. And then just have the money to be able to get, a house for my girl, and I get her a car, give her the life that I want to be able to give her and buy the things that I want to be able to do.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. So yeah, man, like you said, like he said in the video, your why has to be like so strong and so important to you that it literally wills you to victory. It literally helps you get out of bed in the morning, even on the days where you don't feel like waking up and you feel tired or you feel exhausted or you feel like you don't feel like going out there and working. If you have a strong enough why and a strong enough reason to be out there and to go out there, and it's important obviously to make money, to go out there and make as much money as possible. But I think for myself, when you start looking about it more in terms of like, all right, I'm doing it for my mom, my dad, I'm doing it for my brother, my sisters, whoever the case is, I think that is much more powerful than necessarily just doing it for money. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that. If you're doing it for money, that's great. We all have different reasons. We all want to, whatever the case is. But for myself personally, I found that when I frame it in that type of way, that I'm doing it for my family and I'm doing it for the people around me, it literally just pushes me and it wills me to go out there every day, to wake up, every day, get out of bed, even when I may feel tired, and go out there and make it happen. So I feel like when you have that strong enough why, it literally will will you to victory. On top of this too, what he was saying about your why, it just ties into one of the 21 laws by John Maxwell, which is just like the law of priorities. And basically what it is that once you find your why, you begin to prioritize what is important and what is not important. So this really ties into that. And you need to really just understand your focus on your why and put all your energy there. Like Tony Robbins says, where focus goes, energy flows. So it's very, very important. Number 2, though, he does say that we have to have a strategy that will help you achieve your vision. So you just can't have obviously you need to have that strong enough why, but you need to have an idea of how you're going to get there in the first place, which is very, very important. You know, he used the example of of selling ice cream at the beach, and literally, he and all his friends went out and they sold ice cream, and literally, like he said that like most of his friends cut short at just one box of ice cream that they sold. And this literally just goes back to understanding the opportunity. Okay, so when you understand the opportunity, if you have an opportunity in front of you to make a lot of money, to go out there, support your family, to go out there, support the people around you, your significant other, you have to take advantage of it. You just can't squander it. Obviously, you know, this opportunity that we have in front of us, some people are taking advantage of it and some people aren't. And it literally reflects every week on your paycheck. And we see it every week. And, you know, if you're taking full advantage of the opportunity, that's great. You're doing exactly what you have to do. But if you're not taking advantage of the opportunity, you're kind of squandering it. Like, it's literally right in front of you. And I feel like that really spoke to me. That really spoke to me what he said in the video about that, because it just made it clicked in my head how, you know, we all have that same opportunity in front of us. We literally are pretty much all doing the same thing. We're all, you know, we're all going out there selling, we're team building, you know, we're trying to go make it happen. And some are taking advantage and some are not taking advantage. So with this opportunity that we have in front of us, we have to make sure that we're not just going out there and winging it. You know, we have the luxury of not working an hourly wage job. And it's crazy if you really think about it, because I mean, I've been with the company, you know, going on 5 years, but when I was working an hourly wage job to make $100, $200, I mean, you had to put in fucking, you know, 7, 8 hours, 9 hours, whatever the case is. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting, man. It's crazy. You got to put in, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours to make, you know, close to $1,000. And over here, you can make that in half the time. So the thing about it is that the money on this end is extremely efficient. We have the luxury of making that $1,000, you know, in a couple of hours, in a day, even, and, you know, in a week, in a couple of days, whatever the case is. But we have that luxury. So, you know, we as salespeople, as team builders, we have to take advantage of the opportunity in front of us, and we have to recognize it. You know, I know sometimes we go through the motions and we don't really realize it. But you have a perfect opportunity to build yourself up, not just as a person, but as like a salesperson. You know, a communicator. You know, learning how to persuade people. These are all essential skills. You know, he really touched on it in this video that Warren Buffett himself, the dude who's like a freaking billionaire, said that is one of the most important skill sets. I think he said, referred to it as the most important skill set that you can have is communication, persuasion, and sales. You know, this is stuff that you don't really learn in school. You can't really go to school for it. This is stuff that you learn day in and day out, day in and day out. And it's literally just a grind that you got to go through. You know, for a lot of these people on this call, let me ask David. David's been here a minute. David, quick question. How would you say you were with sales when you first started, and communication and persuasion?
I definitely sucked at it. It took a minute to actually understand the process, but I just kept trying to progress myself, basically. And once I felt comfortable enough, I just took off from there.
That's right, man. And, you know, when I entered as well, you know, I wasn't really the best, but it's crazy because you can, like, the growth from you know, where you were at the beginning to where you are now is like night and day. It's like insane, you know? So that just goes to show that it is possible. It is possible for you to learn this skill. It's not just something that people are born with. This is a learnable skill. And the way that you learn it, the key to learning sales, persuasion, communication is, quite frankly, just by going out there every single day, putting in the hours, putting in the doors, and going out there and doing it. You have to put in the work and go out there and do it. people are not, maybe some people are born salesmen, but for the most part, the majority of us here that have learned it. It's a learned skill that we actually, practice every single day. So for myself, I feel like it's very important to learn that skill. Another thing that he did touch up on is that he talked about your standards being congruent with your vision. So you cannot expect to make $1 million, $100,000, $1 billion, whatever it is that you want to make, if your actions are not congruent with what you're putting in. If you're not working full days, you're taking shortcuts, you're losing your attitude out there, you're getting egged out, you're like, you have that negative self-talk, you keep telling yourself that you can't do it, you're not going to achieve it. You're not going to achieve it. And it's a lot of it, I would say 90% of it is mental. It's between here. If you tell yourself that you can go out there and you can do it, you can do it. But if you keep having that negative self-talk and you're just constantly negativity is what's going to surround you. It's just like, it's crazy how it works. That is, it's like the law of attraction. That is what you're going to attract. If you keep having those negative thoughts that you cannot do it, or that, this sales thing is too hard, or team building is too hard, that's what you're going to attract. You're going to attract negativity in your life. So I feel like, we have to have that congruency with our values, where we want to get. Another thing that he did touch up on as well was just communicating the vision to others. Okay, so on top of it as well, it is important that we learn sales and persuasion and everything that goes along with it, but we also need to learn how to communicate our vision, where we want our team to be, our company to be as well, because it's important to have the dream, but you also got to be able to sell the dream as well. So he touched up on that, and being able to sell the dream, being able to do that is just so key to this business. It's so key to team building. Like, you really just have to, make sure that you go out there and do it. And, last but not least, he touched up on having courage and using pain as a point of motivation, as a point of being able to move forward. And, he did touch up on him, obviously, he said that his wife said that he was so fearless, and that he looked like he can do anything, but he's like, nah, in reality, I'm scared. I'm scared. Like, it freaks me out. But the difference is that he did not let fear consume him. He's using fear as motivation to move forward, to push through, to go out there every day and to make his dreams happen. So I think I'm just going to end with this, the 4 main points of the video, just to summarize. Number 1, you have to have a strong enough why. Okay, your why has to be strong enough, and it has to be centered around not just yourself, not just anything material, but it has to be centered around somebody else, your kids, your family, your mom, your dad, whoever it is, but your significant other. It has to be centered around somebody else, because when your why is that powerful, and you're going when it's that powerful and the reason behind it is that huge, nothing's going to stop you. Versus if you just do it over something material, you can kind of fan out and kind of go through the motions. Number 2, he says that we have to have a strategy, which will lead to the vision. So we had to have an idea of where we're going, where we're headed. At the same time, be able to communicate that vision, which was number 3. He said we have to be able to communicate that vision, sell that vision, persuade the people around us on that vision as well. So you have to have your why, you have to have a strategy, and then you also have to have the persuasion behind it. And then number 4, last but not least, you have to be able to have that courage. And obviously, I'm not going to tell you guys to go out there and not be afraid, but you have to be able to push through that fear, push through, all the obstacles, and just go out there and make it happen. So with that being said, guys, let's just go out there today and, let's think about our why. Let's think about how we can get to our vision. And then let's also go out there and, you know, be fearless, you know, be warriors and just do whatever it takes to succeed. Do we have any, you know, questions, comments, concerns?
Hey, Dan, I got a question. Is there ever a bad person or like figure to have like a why based around? Like, is there ever a bad like thing when somebody else motivates you?
What would be an example? Do you have any particular example?
Yeah, an example for me of like one of my reasons why, and this is like really deep, if I really dig down deep, is to make all the people I grew up with like really like damn, what the hell? Like, where the hell did this motherfucker come from? You know, like that's kind of like where my thought process is.
I think that's a good reason. I mean, I don't think it can be your only reason. Obviously, you're probably doing it for your mom, your girlfriend, whatnot, but it's probably another motivating factor that you have. So I would use that as fuel as well, like a big F you to them, you know? Like, I'm going to pay you guys back with my success.
That's right. I think Ken had a raise. It's okay.
I would love to have a one-on-one with this. I think I need more time. but the phrase would be this: be the best version of yourself to be able to affect the changes you need, but don't put your happiness on someone else's success. So if you focus on being the better you, having the resource to help them, awesome. But when that become external, like where you're valuing your happiness on them succeeding and them feeling a certain way, there's gonna be a lot of suffering with that.
You know, one thing that I like to remind myself is that when your why is big enough, the how becomes easy. There you go, Gio. You're reiterating what I'm saying, right?
I knew it.
And if you feel like the how is becoming harder and harder day by day, it's a good reminder to figure out what your why is. And I heard some of you guys share your whys, and it's still, the primary why is still you, right? You want to make money so you can live, so you can buy a car, so you can buy a house. It's still you. But the moment you can think bigger and you want to impact other people, not just your family, but society, the community, the world, now that's going to be different, right? The why is just tremendously bigger than just you and your family, okay? And it's a stepping stone. We all have to start somewhere, but I challenge you guys to think a little bit bigger so that the how becomes freaking stupid. You know what I mean? It becomes really easy. You wake up and you just go.